Hi everyone, I'm Robin Sewell, and this is Arizona Highways.
Casa Grande has such great history, just as much as any other small town in Arizona. But nobody really knows about Casa Grande. I always said it was the best kept secret in Arizona.
Well, very similar to Route 66, our town used to be central to Old Highway 84. That was the main highway that ran between Phoenix and Tucson before the I-10 was built. So once the I-10 became the major thoroughfare, people started associating Casa Grande with just a place to get snacks and gas on their way to Tucson or Phoenix. But the reality is that we have an authentic town that is not a Disney facade. It just really has a great history. This town has always drawn very pioneering types of characters.
The street may be named North Candlestick Drive, but we are clearly not in San Francisco.
We're out in the middle of nowhere. We're 5 miles from the city of Casa Grande, 45 minutes from Phoenix, an hour from Tucson.
A high-rise hotel reminiscent of 1960s Las Vegas, built smack dab in the middle of the desert.
It's not something that you would see in a lot of places in Arizona.
It could easily be named Sahara or the Sands. But while the Rat Pack was playing there, Willie Mays and his Giants were playing here. This is the Francisco Grande Hotel and Golf Resort.
It was built in 1961 by the owner of the San Francisco Giants. They built the facility for preseason baseball. They were the first team to use Arizona for preseason.
The Giants first moved their spring training complex from Florida to Phoenix in 1958. But owner Horace Stoneham had a grander vision.
The rumor has it that I-10 and I-8 were supposed to intersect here.
And that's where he would build a spring training luxury getaway, rivaling any major league team. And the architecture would be their marker.
The top of the building actually looks like a baseball hat turned upside down.
A parking lot formed like a catcher's mitt, and a pool shaped like a baseball bat.
The jacuzzi is a baseball. So I guess we were a little more gimmicky in the beginning than Vegas was in the 60s.
They even built a small stadium to seat 3,000 fans.
That's the observation deck that was surrounded by 4 baseball fields.
The Francisco Grande was the desert playground of future Hall of Famers.
Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, Juan Marichal.
The players trained together, ate, and even roomed together. Except, of course, Mays and McCovey. They had their own rooms in the high-rise. The hotel also had a touch of Hollywood.
We're going into 804, which is the John Wayne Suite.
At the time, he had the largest cattle ranch in North America, just 11 miles from the hotel.
John Wayne's cattle ranch was out to the west here. You can actually see way out there by that little white horizon. That's where his ranch was.
Clint Eastwood may be known for a fistful of dollars, but check out this photo hanging in Duke's bar downstairs. John Wayne brought plenty of cash when he came to Arizona, spending it on cattle and, rumor has it, drinks for everyone at the bar.
That's how the story goes. You know, the story gets stronger and louder in different times of the year, and it's fun to have a little bit of an urban legend around here.
The legends and the hotel live on, even though there was a change-up in the freeway plans.
We moved a little to the south and a little to the east of us.
In 1979, the Giants moved their Cactus League headquarters to Scottsdale. By the end of 1982, there was no more baseball. The Francisco Grande was remodeled and became a golf resort. But the hotel's walls are a shrine to the big names that have stayed here, and part of every guest's experience.
It's the charm of the facility. It's got history, it's got culture, it's got a heartbeat.
Barcelona is world renowned for developing some of the best players play the game. The residency component of La Masia, the world famous La Masia training academy, which I was fortunate enough to be at twice, is basically mirrored here.
There are only 2 Barca soccer academies in the world, one in Barcelona, Spain, the other here in Casa Grande. The best of the best, competing to be the best. Each of these kids, ages 14 to 19, is fully immersed in soccer.
We eat, dream, just basically live every component of soccer. You have everything that you need here to be successful. It's all about just, taking it in and, what you do with it.
Christian Ortiz is from Yuma. He's been with the program for 3 years and now has a scholarship to Oregon State University.
We had a kid, Carlos Salcedo, that played in the World Cup. He plays for Mexico. He's a starting center back.
Every player that graduates through here either signs a professional contract or they end up signing or offered a scholarship at a top collegiate program.
Be a professional soccer player is definitely my goal. Making sacrifices to leave my family to come out here, so that's definitely in my mind. Also working on the academic side, to commit to a good college, whatever it might be, just to have a backup plan.
CADEN is one of the younger students here. While he is immersed in soccer, he and his teammates also go to school on site, room together, and eat together.
The two-story buildings behind me is our dorm rooms.
What's fantastic about the environment is the diversity, different cultures, different ways, and it's a fantastic mix and blend.
Sean McCafferty is the Academy Director. His goal is to help teach these kids lessons that will go far beyond the soccer field.
Our core values are very important to us, so it's developing good human beings as well as players.
Sports in general and soccer in particular, because it's such a team sport. Everybody has to be a cohesive unit, and you learn all of those core values that will be very useful later on in life.
While each of these kids wants to play professionally, they also have a backup plan. Cameron Fisher from Scottsdale has a scholarship to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
I obviously want to play professional soccer, but at North Carolina, I think I'm going to study business.
The slogan itself of the club, Más que un club, which means more than a club. It's not just about, soccer on the field, but it's about family outside the field, how you interact with friends, people. It's not only a program that teaches you to become a great soccer player, but a great person as well.
If I were to describe Casa Grande, I'd say in 2 words, uniquely connected.
Diverse community.
Small with potential.
Coming together.
I would say caring community.
The first 2 words that come to mind when I think of Casa Grande would just be hometown.
Supportive community.
Welcome. Welcome to all. Welcome all.
Potential and sight. Those would be my 2.
Small community.
Friendly and fascinating.
Very comfortable.
My home.
My name is Ken Ferguson. I'm the Artistic Director for the Black Box Foundation. We are a performing arts and education organization. And welcome to the Historic Women's Club of Casa Grande, which was originated in the 1920s. And we're glad to bring life back to this building and bring the arts. As an artist, when there wasn't that many shows or productions around, my partner Stacy Seaman, we both said, well, let's just start doing shows. I mean, let's figure out how we can do shows, and we just started growing it from there. We were so fortunate. The city, through the Main Street, worked with us, and we have a lease for the space, and it had been relatively unused, and the timing was right, and so now we have people every weekend coming in that had never been in there, and some people that have lived here their whole life. We do upwards to 14 shows a year. And that's a range from youth theater to adult community theater to out at the college, storytelling series. We've done poetry slams, we've done improv comedy, stand-up comedy. There's a connection to Phoenix and Tucson, and we have people that come from different parts of the county that come. I mean, we'd like to think that this is the arts hub for the county, or at least we're determined to make it so. I mean, I don't think anybody's doing year-round theater in any other place in the county.
For more Arizona Highways adventures, hidden Arizona treasures, and fun behind-the-scenes stories, follow AZ Highways TV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. At the turn of the century, the Silver King Hotel, that's this right here, was one of the biggest hotels in the region. It was quite the place in its heyday. Luckily for us and the town of Florence, it's been preserved, the building itself, in a very, shall we say, sweet way.
Yes, it is.
So this is the fudge shop, and you are?
I'm Corey.
Hi, Corey. I'm Robin Sewell.
I'm Lillian.
Hi, Lillian. We hear that this is the best fudge shop in town.
The best place in town.
The best place in town to come. I bet you guys are very popular, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are.
So how did they decide to open up a fudge shop in this building?
Well, we decided to make the town a little sweeter.
Oh, well, we can all stand to be a little sweeter. That's so nice. Now, who makes this fudge?
Our pastor's wife does.
Really?
Yep.
It's all made right here in the shop.
What are some of the most popular fudge choices?
Rocky Road.
Rocky Road?
And Snickers.
Rocky Road and Snickers.
And what's your favorite, Lillian?
Chewy pralines.
Would you say that this is kind of a town gathering place?
Yep. Every morning they come, 8 o'clock. They come in and they sit there and drink their coffee.
Okay, this is the chewy praline.
Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't that good?
that's really good.
Gets me in trouble.
Oh, that's really good. That's delicious. Well, thank you so much,
You're
both of you,
welcome.
for letting us come on in and enjoy. And after this, maybe we might be able to give Alex. Alex, you want a chewy praline? Rocky Road? All right, he wants both too.
Okay.
Thanks, you guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.
One of the places that Florence can brag about is their hardware store. Now, you may say, a hardware store is a hardware store. You can find that in any city. Well, let me tell you something. You cannot find this hardware store anywhere else other than Florence. Hey!
Hi, how are you?
It's Bruce, right?
Yes.
All right, Bruce.
True Value.
WOODMANSEE.
That's it.
Did I get it?
You got it right. Perfect.
And your family owns the True Value hardware store here in Florence.
Locations, including this one, yeah.
Bruce, this has to be one of the most unique hardware stores anywhere. So come on, tell us about it.
Well, it's great. You know, we've actually built this down up from the ground up, pretty much. This building we took over about 5 years ago, and it was just something that we wanted to do. We wanted something we wanted to create, and we ended up starting to add antique tools, antique things. It came more like a museum type concept.
Okay.
And we knew that it would bring people.
Well, show us some of your favorite unique aspects of the store. Let's walk.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Some of the belt-driven fans actually on this side that we have over here, if you look up, we've got some of these replica belt-driven fans that are actually run from this two-motor concept up here.
Belt-driven fans? I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, so they're all linked together. We've got these two, actually it's a single motor with two little turn rods on it, and it spins all these belts that link about 4 fans together. We do have these working traffic signals. We actually have 3 of them in the store. We've got them flashing, and they were at one time used for an actual authentic traffic signal.
Oh,
in the
really?
city. And actually, it's more traffic signals here in our store than the town of Florence actually has working on the streets here on Main Street. They have 2 working signals, and we have 3.
And you had 3. Oh, that's
kind of
funny.
fun.
And yet, we must tell everybody that this is still a hardware store.
Yeah, it's a still working hardware
I mean,
store.
if you walk down this aisle right here, it looks like you have every nut, bolt, and screw available to man. Hardware store / museum. Well, that's great. Thank you so much.
No problem.
I'm gonna go shopping.
That sounds great.
Okay. It's one of the things Arizona is best known for. Just take a look around. Lots of exposed rock. In fact, we have more here in our state than anywhere else in the nation, making us one of the best rock climbing meccas in the country. Today, we are just outside of Superior. This is one of the best rock climbing areas in our state. And as you're about to see, as we hang on by our fingertips and climb our way inch by inch to the top, that is the name of the game. So here I'm with Paul and Eric, and they're my rock climbing instructors. I'm gonna trust you guys, and we're gonna go on up and climb.
Let's do it.
So let's go. Paul DIEFENDERFER works quickly and precisely, getting the ropes ready for our climb, making darn sure that they'll be secure.
See you at the bottom.
ERIK Filsinger's down below. ERIK is part of the Queen Creek Climbing Coalition. This area where we're climbing today is owned by the Resolution Copper Mine. Together, the Coalition and Resolution Copper have worked out an agreement that lets rock climbers use some of the mine's property. Okay, I'm ready.
So, we're gonna tie you in here.
As soon as I'm strapped in, it's amazing how fast the fear of falling grips me. I'm not even up there yet. if you had to lift me, I wouldn't be that. I mean,
but he's not going to lift you. If you were going to belay Erik up, we would anchor you to a rock or something on the ground or a tree.
Because I wouldn't.
Because he weighs more than you by a couple of pounds, maybe.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Now, I've climbed some rock walls indoors before.
When you're climbing, just look at, you asked Erik about looking at your feet. Yeah, you don't move anything unless you're looking at it. You're going to put your foot down and then just put your weight down and then stand up. And if you look, you don't need big hand. You're just going to touch and you're going to look at the other foot. And then here's the biggest trick in the world. Move your weight over the foot.
The foot I want to stand on.
Yeah.
All right. Ready to climb.
You're on belay, Robin.
Climbing.
Climb on.
Okay.
Now, here's where we have a camping ledge right there. Yeah, you saw it right there. Stand now. Shift your weight over that. Stand up.
She's a natural.
And keep breathing.
I don't think I remember to breathe.
Right, that's the tendency that people want to hold their breath.
About right here?
Now, don't go so far over. I'd go right here. Look at that huge ledge. Just put your toe on it like that.
A huge ledge. It's like the size of my pinky.
Push with the leg. No.
Okay, well, let's just experience something.
Now, what did I say about grabbing onto the rope?
Don't touch the rope. Okay. You know what they say, get back on the bull. We're back on the rock.
There you go.
If I thought climbing up was hard, climbing down is going to be tougher. This is where I'm having a difficult time.
Stand up on that foot. Don't lean in. Stand up. See how you're tentative?
Mm-hmm.
The only time you should stand with both knees bent like you're doing is when you're going to the bathroom in a cornfield. So, we're not doing that, so don't do it.
Suddenly, every rock climber's a comedian.
Lean back, don't touch there. Now straighten your legs. Ah, there we go.
Well, I like this
Feet
part.
about shoulder width apart. There we go.
And then, what I was afraid of happens. No, not the butt shots.
So, Robin, you were picking something.
Stop when you get to the ground.
Sorry, guys.
You're good.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. Good.
I'm a little clumsy.
That's okay.
Well, I guess it's like everything. You know what? You just got to do it over and over
Yep.
again. You
Practice.
Have confidence and practice.
And honestly, I've dealt with a lot of beginners. You did just fine.
But I was
Audience, she did great.
So after a few bumps and bruises, I found out that I actually like the thrill I get from rock climbing. Not bad for a day just off an Arizona highway in the beautiful mountains of Superior.
It was his love for the cactus that started the whole thing.
A viewer recommended this place to us several years ago, saying it was the best restaurant in Casa Grande. Arizona Highways magazine had already named BEDILLON'S Cactus Garden and Restaurant one of their favorite in the state. So we had to check it out for ourselves. It takes up a corner of a neighborhood street just off the center of downtown. Open wooden gates guide you into the hacienda-style patio and garden that'll lead you inside the adobe home.
It's 101 years old. The man that started its name was Jean Vallette. His dad was head of the German army during the First World War. And he was kind of the son that didn't do well in the army, and they sent him to Riverside, California on an assignment. He thought he was there to buy grain and horses for the German army, but he was there as punishment for something he had done wrong. So he said no, and he went AWOL, and he got back on the train and came to Casa Grande.
Michael Jackson owns BEDILLON'S. He's part hipster, part cool cat, and all about keeping this unique garden and its history alive.
He walked over here, bought this piece of property, and started collecting cactus in about 1918, 1920.
It's a collection that stretches beyond the native plants of our Sonoran Desert.
We have 88 different varieties of cactus here from all over the world, and there's only 7 that are indigenous. So a lot of them started like that boojum tree was a transplant from Baja. We've got a Peruvianus monstrosiris, an Argentinian.
A mixture that is stunning, especially at sunset, when the cactus seem to change color and personalities, casting shadows in the changing light.
Mr. BEDILLON bought it in about 65, and he rebuilt the walls. The original walls were 8 feet high adobe. He saved a lot of Casa Grande history in the walls. When I first bought this place too, I think at our first meeting I told everybody the hardest job we've got is getting our food and our service to compete with the venue. because nobody has a venue like this.
Now, most people do come for the food, which includes hand-cut steaks, fish, and several Southwest-inspired dishes. The menu also has a taste of tradition.
When we had Christmas or any holidays, we always had at Grandma's house.
Grandma's bacon-wrapped black olives stuffed with jalapeno cheese is their most popular appetizer. And you cannot leave without having dessert. This one is a riff on a recipe from an old neighbor.
My wife stays up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning making the apple cakes whenever we're out. And so we call it Apple Cake Jean because Jean was the one that gave it to us. But it's our most popular dessert too.
Aside from the food in the garden, there's also a museum filled with Native American artifacts. When Michael bought the property from Mr. Dillon in 1990, he gave an unwritten promise to never sell off the garden or the artifacts.
It's our only ace card, basically. We have a lot of history here, and the last thing we want to do is bulldoze it and forget about it. We want to preserve it as much as we can.
On the fireplace in one of the dining rooms is a photo of the BEDILLON'S. Look closely at what Mrs. Dillon is reading. Yes, an Arizona Highways magazine. I think they'd be happy we made the trip.
So most of the locals say Casa Grande, okay? Spanish is a second language of mine, and of course in Spanish it's Casa Grande. And so I normally say Casa Grande, kind of a mix between the two, but typically the locals just say Casa Grande.
I say Casa Grande.
I say Casa Grande because that to me is how the words would spell out in Spanish and be said. So, and
pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you talk to the old timers, there's Casa Grande.
If I'm talking to my grandparents, I say Casa Grande. But if I'm talking to just locals here, I say Casa Grande.
Thanks everyone so much for joining us. I'm Robin Sewell, and we'll see you on the next Arizona Highways.